enlist?
He enlisted. He was in the military for 20 years. Yes, he was military police. I don't think we should have been involved in the Vietnam War.
Not only that, but a lot of battles were fought in the dense jungle. The U.S. Army was not equipped to fight this kind of war. Even in the cities of the South, where Americans were in control, the Viet Cong would stage suicide bombings and sneak attacks. Back at home, the war became very unpopular. People couldn't understand why Americans had to die for a tiny country halfway around the world. Television, newspapers, and magazines brought home images of innocent Vietnamese civilians killed by American bombs. Protesters marched against the war, sometimes peacefully, sometimes not. But a lot of Americans believed in the cause of the war. They thought the protesters were putting U.S. soldiers in danger by weakening support for them. Eventually, President Johnson stopped sending more troops. He even refused to run for another term as president because of Vietnam. Richard Nixon became president in 1968, promising to end the war with honor. But he didn't manage to make the peace until 1973, after his re-election. By the time the war was over, at least 1.2 million North and South Vietnamese were dead, and 58,000 American soldiers died in the conflict. Once the American army pulled out, the North Vietnamese invaded the South and unified the country under communist rule. Today, Vietnam is still mostly communist in its government, although it has shifted to a market economy where businesses and consumers decide what they want to sell and buy. And the U.S. and Vietnam are now friendly with each other.
I was fortunate in the fact that I had a home of my own right down the street from my mother, so I had support from my parents and help with the children. I worried about him a whole lot, but the only communication was letters. It was too far back for the internet and instant communication. Usually what you saw was a couple days old, and it wasn't fun to see it. I didn't like to see it, no. Every person, every man that I know that served in Vietnam never talked about it. The fact that we were separated for the year, and I think it bothered him that he was over there. He never really talked about it, but sometimes he would go off on his own, and it looked like he was thinking about things.